Okay, so for the next way that you can use data validation, another way to do it apart from tables is using questions. So for example, sometimes you want to quiz a user and you want them to fill out a questionnaire. Now this could be for a lot of reasons, but mainly it's to gather some sort of an opinion about what a person typically will do. So for example, how many cups of coffee do you drink a day? Now, a key concept overlooked in data validation is that you can sometimes type in numbers as words. So for example, if I typed in 2, that's a number. But I could also type in 2 like that as a word. So data validation doesn't always just work on the type of data you're entering in terms of the actual values. It can also be used to make sure that you get the correct format for your value. And the best case for this is, for example, in numbers, where you prefer a numerical number to be typed in as opposed to the actual word to be typed in. So data validation can come in handy for this as well. So let's just delete that and go to data validation, and let's set a new criteria where we're only accepting a whole number. Now we can define the range for that number, and we can specify the actual operand for it. So do we want the number to be between a certain value and another value, or for example equal to a certain value? Now because we're asking the user a question about how many cups of coffee do they drink a day, let's make it so that they can't actually have more than 4 cups of coffee. So we're putting the condition that we want an answer maximum 4. So what we can do is basically say between 0 and then 4. And again, with the input message, we can actually put a message here, because we're only asking the question once, to say basically enter a value from 0 to 4. So what we can put in the title is value to enter, and then just put here, please enter a value from 0 to 4. And then we could also put, if you drink more than 4 cups of coffee, put 4. Now this is just to restrict the answer, folks. And of course you can vary this according to what you actually want to get from the question. Now as an error alert, we'll go with the style of stop again, and we'll put the title as error message, and just for the actual error message say, please select a value from 0 to 4 only. There. And then you press OK. Right. Now as you can see, our input message has appeared where it says value to enter. Please enter a value from 0 to 4. If you drink more than 4 cups of coffee, put 4. So let's put 6 and see what we get. There. As you can see, we get our error message. Please select a value from 0 to 4 only. Now remember folks, you've got to press delete if you hit retry on the error message. There. And then click out, and then click back in. And then you can type in any number from 0 to 4. So in this case, I'll type in 3. There. Now you might be wondering, folks, why haven't we got an in-cell drop-down list like we add over here? Well, if you go back into data validation, now in our settings, you can see that we actually don't have the option here. So when we select whole numbers, Excel doesn't give us a drop-down list, which means we actually have to type it in. So how can we get around notifying the user about what values do we have? Well, this is exactly why we did our input message, because we're actually telling the user what are the range of values they can put in by saying in our message here, enter a value from 0 to 4. Okay. So let's go on to our second example. How many times a day do you eat? Now the conditions that we put for this second question is a maximum of 5 times. So if you eat 6 or 7 times, we only want you to put 5. Now a bit of logic here, folks, is that in terms of eating, you actually do need to eat at least once. So if we go to data validation, we go to settings, click whole number. Our minimum value we're going to put as 1, and our maximum we're going to put as 5. And that's because you actually do need to eat at least once a day. Now, why we didn't put it for our previous question of how many cups of coffee do you drink a day? Well, some people actually don't drink coffee, and you'll be perfectly fine. So that's the reason we put 0 for that minimum criteria. But for this question, how many times do you eat a day? We want a minimum of 1. Now, in our input message, we're just going to put a title of what to put, and then put, please enter a value from 1 to 5 if you eat more than. There. And our error message, there. Okay, so you've got what to put, and then you've got please enter a value from 1 to 5, and then if you eat more than 5 times, please put 5. So let's just test our error message. We're going to put 7, and our error box pops up, please enter a value from 1 to 5. Hit retry, just press delete, and then you can just put in a value from 1 to 5. So in this case, let's put 3. There. And there you have it, folks. Our data validation is in. Okay, so that concludes this part of data validation in terms of seeing how we can use it for questions. We have covered already how we can use data validation for table-related type data. Now, if there are any questions or queries on this data validation, please do feel free to reach out. Remember, no VBA is needed, and this is an excellent way of standardizing choices and categories for users. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.